Hey, I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max Van.
And today we're going to recap MotoAmerica Supersport Round 8
at Circuit of the Americas.
Okay, we traveled all the way to Texas, drove down there in the truck together.
20 hours.
And you got to fly home.
Yeah.
I got to drive home.
Yeah,
little solo windshield time.
Let me just say this. For 20 hours, you guys can't stand this guy for 3 minutes. Imagine what it's like 20 hours with him on
You're welcome.
the way there.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's even worse when you fart in the truck.
Yeah.
So, it was a great round. We had our sponsors from Two Wheel Dyno Works come out. Nels brought his family out. Awesome. Great to see them there. My sister and her husband came out. Got to spend a little time with them. That was kind of good, too. Had a great time with everybody. My sister got to do a two-seat ride with Chris.
Our neighbors came out as well.
Yeah, the Bomberitos came out. I forgot about that. Sue, Dan, and Jake. And we got Jake out on the two-seater.
Yep, that was cool.
So, I mean, all in all, it was a great weekend with friends and family. It's always a good time at the racetrack. Overall, the weekend itself of racing for us,
kind of shitty. Brutally honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't go our way. Didn't go my way, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Shit happens, you know. But
you crashed some shit that weekend.
I crashed some shit. Yeah, two pretty fat crashes. FP1 was pretty okay. Like, riding there in the morning is fine. I mean, of course, it's really hot, but it's nowhere near, like, qualifying one. Like, the track compared, let's say, FP1, which is at 9 to 11 a.m., when it's maybe only 90 degrees out and some sun on the track, to the track at 2 p.m., when it feels like it's 100 and whatever out with, fuck, it's crazy. Like, that long back straightaway with that black, the pavement's pitch black because it's so new. It's so hot. It's absolutely insane. FP1 was okay. I finished 13th, off to a really strong start. And then I guess just kind of fell off, lost the pace, wasn't feeling it. I was really excited for Q1 because I knew exactly what to do better. And I think on my second flying lap, or I'd call it my first flying lap because the first couple we had, or the first flyer at least, we ran into lap traffic, my teammate Tyler and I. And then me, Tyler, Torrin Collins were riding together, and then I went through a corner, I forget what corner it is, man. It's a stadium section where it's a double right and then kind of like a double apex left. And as soon as I flicked into the left and grabbed the brakes, it was the fattest front tuck in the history of ever. I slid forever, the bike flipped, and yeah.
I changed some parts from that crash.
He changed some parts, and I went out with it like a stunner tank, like those dudes that like step on their fucking tank and, excuse my French, but heat it up, you know what I mean? They do the wheelies on it. That's how I rode for the last almost 10 minutes of the session, I'd say.
Because he brought the bike back in.
Yeah.
And we were able to make some very quick repairs.
I think a new windscreen, the handlebars were bent, the rear set was fixed. But, yeah, just the front end was a little tweaked, including the tank. But, yeah, I went out there, I did the same exact time that I did in FP1. I finished 14th, so I was actually happy with that. Like, I wasn't deceived. I was pretty stoked on that because my bike was half put together. You know, it was as good as it could be for the 30-minute session, that's for sure. So
I thought you did a great job. That was a great recovery from the crash to go out there and perform well with a bike that was less than desirable.
Yeah.
That part I was happy with, and that was crash number 1 on the weekend. We get into Q2, Saturday morning. How'd we do?
Q2, well, the coolest thing was we had the 40th anniversary?
We did.
We had the cool blue-white livery from, I guess, back in the day. I don't remember. Maybe he does, but I sure don't.
And even on Thursday.
Thursday we did this.
On Thursday, we put all the bikes together. We put all the bikes in the blue 40th anniversary livery. They put their suits on. And this was sick. Like, you know, getting to be a part of that, all the history with Team Hammer, getting to be on the team in 2025 in Supersport.
Yeah, that's cool.
And, like, you know, you've got a picture where the 4 of you are lined up. Richie Escalante, right?
Yeah, Sean,
Dylan Kelly,
that was cool.
Tyler Scott, and Max Van. All your bikes lined up, just looking sick at Circuit of the Americas. Brian J. Nelson takes the greatest pictures in the history of track pictures for sure.
He sure did.
He did all that for us. And then we got a picture of just you and the bike. That looks great. That's actually our Facebook profile picture now for STG. And then we're the back of our trailer, the trailer door, we have a picture of you with your bike that Brian J. Nelson took. It was with your Ninja 400.
Yeah.
At MotoAmerica.
Yeah.
We're going to replace just the back door wrap.
With that same.
Yeah, because, I mean, dude, to be a part of that was sick. We have one of those race suits is now in the basement on a mannequin right next to my Valentino Rossi crashed Dainese suit. It's a real one. I think yours is cooler personally. So
mine's also crashed.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Well, whatever, man.
It's cool, but Q2 wasn't great. I guess couldn't find the flow. I don't know how. Just had some personal issues, and I went, I think, right around 0.3 slower, and I qualified, I think, 20th, maybe 21st. And I raced, and I got a terrible start, and I tried to make some moves, and I was up in, I think, 17th or 18th on the first lap. And the same corner that I took the front in, I high-sided out of. And Jarrett Nassani was right behind me. He had nowhere to go, so I took him out. And I know this is like 4 months later, Jarrett. I told you, you're you and your team. I'm sorry. I guess shit happens, but yeah, I got my bell rung on that one pretty hard, and I just decided to sit the rest of the race out.
Well, what were you going to do? I mean, the bike
was smashed up, and then, the next day, warm-up was just the same, kind of the mellow feeling, just couldn't mesh, and then race 2 was the same thing. I can't really say it was a lost cause of a weekend because I don't want to treat it like that, but unfortunately, it kind of was. I just started off on the wrong foot in Q1, and I guess that just kind of almost set me up for failure. It sucks that I have to say that, but I'll admit to it. I'm not a bullshitter. But yeah, just kind of was behind the pace all weekend long. Just never really got back into a smooth rhythm, if that makes sense.
And that happens sometimes, dude. Like, it's easy to just beat yourself up. You, of course, always want to do good. You're racing against the best of the best. There's no question you have the talent. That part, any of your issues with racing, it's not a talent thing. It's about finding that mindset, and that's different for everybody. I mean, you're going to get some people, they're willing to go out there and do literally whatever the fuck it takes, plus 10%.
Yeah.
Right?
Not wrong there.
And you're riding it is amazing, but how hard you're willing to go,
yeah, that's only something I can control.
Correct. So, yeah, and that's a decision for you to make. And at the end of the day, I personally had a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I would have preferred to not fix 2 crashes, but you know what? That's what I signed up for. And I stayed and got the bike fixed, and I feel like I did a good job. We never had an extra mechanical while you were out there after. I got the bikes repaired, got you out there. Something that we did different, that when I look back on the season that I wish maybe I didn't do, is I chose to go and do all the work by myself like I always have on all of his bikes, right? And every other bike has 2 chassis techs. Hindsight now, that was a mistake because it just put, I got a couple of really bad knees and shit right now, and that put a lot of extra pressure, I think on me, and some of that pressure, probably to some degree, I think you feel responsibility for it, even though I'm just going to get the fucking work done.
He has to say a little later. That's kind of how it is, because if I crash, and let's say someone on the Superbike crashes, let's say Sean crashed and I crashed, usually we're there maybe at least an hour or 2 later because one guy usually works on for the Superbike. If there's 2 dudes, one's on the front, one's on the back. And for you, it's just a one-man show.
Yeah, I do the front and the back and the middle.
Yeah. And everything else.
And whatever, and I got it done. But, in hindsight, I kind of look at that and I think to myself, you would have been more at ease if you thought it was easier for me, if that makes sense.
A little bit. That was kind of part of it, but there's no excuses. I mean,
No, you just needed to fucking ride better.
Just needed to ride better. It's as simple as that. So,
and it's okay that you didn't.
In race 2, I think I finished 17th, and that's not great. There's no points earned there, but definitely better than 21st. But yeah, shit happens. It wasn't a great weekend, but I guess you live, you learn, and kind of move on from there.
Did you have fun?
I had a good time.
I enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed being at COTA. It's one of those venues, too. Like, you get there because it's a Formula 1 track.
Yeah.
I've never gotten to ride it.
No. One thing I'll say about Texas is maybe, like, when you get a little south, like, run your sprinklers a little more. I'd like to see some grass.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Just
you
the
can't
honest
run
truth.
them enough, bro.
No, I know. Yeah.
You can't run them enough. So there's our COTA recap once again. Thank you to everyone for all your support over the years. Thanks to our sponsors, Precision Track Days, Two Wheel Dyno Works, and a whole litany of other people, Vortex, Spiegler. We can go on and on. It's
everything. Yeah, it was good.
Logos are all over the bike. Thank you to everyone, and on to the next round.